Hey y'all, I'm Brittany Kelly, and welcome to The Journey Within. In these 8 episodes, I take you through 8 women's journeys. Always remember, be kind, because everyone you meet is on a journey of their own. Hey y'all, I'm here with Erin Oprea, one of my trainers, and she is an amazing woman with an amazing journey. And today we are going on her journey within. So, Erin.
Hello, thanks for having me. This is so fun. And welcome to my pretty
I
muscle
know.
studio.
We're in her beautiful studio.
This is my playground in here.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. This is so exciting. So we're just gonna dive right in.
Let's do it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your story, your background, and how you grew up, and kind of how you got here?
So I was born in Sacramento, California. I grew up in Carlsbad, California, so basically San Diego area. And I grew up a very basic, simple childhood. We grew up right near the beach, like bonfires on the beach, playing, like very basic.
That's awesome.
No extreme highs, no extreme lows, no. And then we moved to Nashville when I was in high school, and then outside, I got married when I was 18. Mistake. But I did get married when I was 18, and my ex-husband at the time, he was in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, you get to go camping? That looks like so much fun. So I thought, I'll join the Marine Corps. And he's like, well, if you do it, you'll get divorced. I was like, okay. So I went and signed up. Did not get divorced. But
what drove you to get married at 18?
I was dumb. I literally don't know. Because I graduated high school when I was 16. Mm-hmm. And then we were dating. And then I got married when I was 18. Moved back to California, so I lived back in California by the time I was 18. Yeah. Well, actually, I moved back when I was 17. Yeah.
Looking back on that moment when you were 18 and getting married, like, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Don't do it. I told my kids, I was like, look, learn from my mistakes. Yeah. But without those mistakes, I wouldn't be where I am today. So everything takes you to the next thing. Mm-hmm. It was a terrible experience, but I have my 2 kids out of it, so I don't have any regrets. Mm-hmm. The one I would say is I wish I didn't stay as long as I did, because it was 11 years of misery. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to my mom at my first 1-year anniversary, I was like, gosh darn, this is so miserable. She's like, just stay, it gets better. It didn't get better. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things that what I would say is I should have gotten out sooner, but I was like, I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm not going to get divorced. Because that's what everyone's like, you're going to get divorced. I was like, no, I'm not.
Do you feel like you were having like a mental, emotional battle during those 11 years of like wanting to leave but feeling like you need to stay for the people around you? And
I wasn't staying for the people around me. Actually, that's not true. I was staying. The main reason is I was like, I'm not going to let it, because everyone told me you're going to get divorced because you got married so young. So I was staying because I was going to prove everybody wrong. Which is dumb. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter whatever anyone else thinks. Mm-hmm. That was a mistake. I was staying, and then I was staying for my children's sake. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want them to be with single mom, because my parents were still married. And I was like, I don't want that for them, and I can tough it out. And so really, I stayed for my kids' sake, which was wrong, because I feel like the kids growing up in a miserable house is worse than having 2 separate parents that are both happy.
Mm-hmm. So was mental health talked about at all in your family or growing up?
Never crossed my mind one time.
Did you ever even hear the term mental health or therapist or?
Never.
Interesting.
When I had my first therapy was actually when I had a miscarriage.
Okay.
So I had my first kid at 22. He's now 22, which is crazy. Gosh, if he had a kid right now, I'd be like, what? But so yeah, I had my first kid at 22, and then 23, I had a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. I was about 20 weeks along. It was a terrible experience. Mm-hmm. And so that was the first time I'd ever gone to counseling to deal with that. And miscarriages now are much more talked about. Mm-hmm. Back then, it was never really mentioned. Mm-hmm.
Who suggested for you to go to therapy, or how did that come about?
I'm trying to remember how that came about. I don't think anyone. I think I just decided one day I need help. Like I just couldn't quit crying.
That's powerful. So you were kind of feeling like overcome with emotions, and you knew deep inside that you needed to kind of get that out and
I
have
needed,
someone.
yeah, I needed to talk to somebody. And then they put me on meds, which meds are great if it's for you, but I think that I think I just need to mentally process it and not be on medicine. So I went off it pretty quickly. I feel like they put me on like Prozac. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's what they put me on. And I didn't love the feeling of that for me, not for me personally.
Yeah.
Not against it. If it works for you, then I say, hey, do whatever's best for yourself.
No, I had a similar situation when I was 17. I went through a very traumatic event, and the first thing the doctors wanted to do was put me on medicine. And again, like, to echo what you said, I don't think meds are bad for a transitional period. But for me and where I was, it was not allowing me to process what I needed to process. So that was,
I would say the same thing because it happened like so quickly after the miscarriage. I went on meds, so I didn't feel like I really went through everything I needed to go through. I needed to just give myself time.
yeah, like have that grieving period. Really.
That's what I need to do. Yeah. And then I got pregnant again quickly after when I said no more. After that first miscarriage, I was like, I'm not going to have another baby. Like, I don't want to do this again. And I got pregnant. And I was like, oh, I cannot be close to this baby. He's not going to make it. So I kept saying, up until the day he was born, I was like, he can die at any day. Like, I'm not gonna bond. I just shut it off.
You feel like that was a kind of defense to
Oh,
protect
absolutely, is
your
it?
heart?
But a terrible defense. Like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that because it made me kind of miss the whole. Not that I loved being pregnant. I'm not one. I know there's a lot of women that love. I did not love being pregnant, but it made me miss that bonding time with him when I was pregnant. But
When he was born, did you just feel like an overwhelming rush of emotions, or were you still kind of guiding?
still trying to figure it out. I
Yeah.
was like, wait, I actually have 2 kids now. He made it. But yeah, so that was probably my first counseling or mental health experience.
So let's talk about your time at war.
So war.
First off, thank you for your
Oh,
service.
thank you. So I did 9 years in the Marine Corps. The first tour I went to Iraq in 2003. We sat in Kuwait prior to the war kicking off, and then I went in on day 1 into Iraq. And that was a crazy experience. Man, it was 66 days no shower. How about that? That was right
Any
perfect.
dry shampoo in there?
Dry shampoo. Yeah.
Maybe some dirt.
I mean, I think you need more dry shampoo. With shampoo was the least of your worries. I mean, everyone smelled, but we smelled so bad. It was like equal. Everyone smelled so bad, so it didn't matter.
What were your thoughts like while you were headed over there? Like, what emotions were happening, or if any?
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
I feel like I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
I kind of thrive off it. And people, I got a lot of negative from women because I left my kids. How could you leave your kids like that? I was like, it's the same for men. And you just go. It's part of my job. It's a job. You do what you got to do, and it's what I signed up for, knowing that something like this could happen. And I, probably not the best thing, but I could put a wall up and be like, they're fine. I'll be home. They're good. And so it's not like I sat around and cried every day. Really, I don't think I did cry at all.
You just felt like you were just
I was
hyped on adrenaline.
Yeah, I was in the moment of work.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I trained all these years for this. We get to go play. Like, this is what we've been training for. Now it's go time. And so I feel like I was at peace with my kids being great at home. And I was like, I'll be back. It's only a year. I mean, they're fine.
Did you fear for your life?
I mean, no, I should have. I mean, I look back at it. I mean, I have my combat action ribbon, so that means you've been fired upon and you return fire in order to get one. I've seen a lot of death. I've seen a lot, but no, I think I thrive on it. Like, no, I look back now and I'm like, gosh, that was my life. I've lived 2 separate lives in one life. I was like, I have this whole world of the military, and then I have the whole training world, which is like celebrity world, which is the furthest thing from who I am. And now I'm like in this world. It's like I've lived 2 black and white worlds. Like, they're so opposite. But I feel like I've had great experiences. Everything's led me to the next thing.
What?
And then my second tour, so I was there for a year, came back. I got really sick actually on my first tour. Right before it was time to come home, I got cellulitis and I almost died. They said
my
2 days later I would have died had I not told them. I just didn't show up for formation one day. It was right before we were due to come home, and I got a staph infection, and it went all the way up. Like the line went all the way up, and it was right there at my inner thigh. And they said, had you waited, it would have killed you. But I just couldn't get up. Like I literally could not, and they had to come find me. And they're like, "Where is she? She's never shut up." So I was super sick, and then so I was put on med hold when I got home because I was so sick and pumped full of IVs for days and days. But they did let me come home. They weren't going to let me fly because they said I was unstable. But they let me come home with everybody, and then I was home for 6 months, and then I went back. And that was during the big invasion of Fallujah. And that one, that was a nasty one. But I will say I saw the coolest light show I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Man, that was like a fireworks show from...
Oh my goodness.
Like when we shut down Fallujah and we came in with all the aircrafts, all the jets and stuff, and that light show was it was unreal. I was standing there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my life.
Surreal.
Here we go. It's go time. It was crazy.
What inside of you what do you think drove you to seek out this adrenaline and seek out that life for yourself?
I had never, the military was never a plan of mine. Literally never thought I'm going to join the military. I have no military in my family. It wasn't even seeking that out. My ex-husband was in the Marines, and I was like, let's go camping. I'm going to go camping. That sounds like fun. That's a job, camping. I got this. That's not what it really is. People are like, do you love camping? No, I've had my fill. You want to go camp? No,
more than camping.
No, I'm good. You guys go camp, have fun. I'm going to a nice hotel now.
So funny. Was mental health spoken about at war, or were there counselors?
It wasn't. It was more, not my first deployment. My second one, it was talked about more. So after my first deployment, when I came home, I had a lot of issues, and that's when I went to counseling.
So when you got back here,
when I got back to the States,
and
I got some help.
We're just kind of what was bubbling up inside of you,
I really had, and this is gonna sound kind of weird, but I had this really hard time going to, I can't remember. I went to Target, and I was like, oh, look, everybody's so grateful. They don't realize what everyone's giving up in the world for them to have these. And then I just saw people that I just felt like, why are we buying all this stuff? Why do we care about stuff so much? And I just felt like we were super ungrateful here for what was happening over there and how people live over there. And I was having a hard time even with my kids, readjusting to being a mom. Because you come home and you're like, mom, 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 mom. Well, it's hard. You can't just switch like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could only handle them for 5-minute increments. And I was like, something's off. I could trigger.
Did you feel really
snap.
mad?
Angry. And I didn't want to be around my husband. I didn't want to be around my family. All I wanted to do was be back with my Marine Corps friends. They're the only ones that knew what was going on in my head. I could talk to them, but nobody in regular world knew what I was even going through. And so I had a lot of adjustments with them, with that. And that's so I went to counseling for that. And then it was time to deploy again. And at my going away party, my dad died during the party. So he's 52, died of a massive heart attack. We were playing sand volleyball. And he walked to my mom we were in the middle of the game. And he's like, hey, I'll be right back. And he went over to my mom. And he said, my chest hurts. And then he fell over and died instantly with CPR. But they gave me 10 days of emergency leave to help her move. And then I was gone for a year. And people are like, how'd you process that? Again,
you didn't probably.
Shut it off. I go to work. I went to work and I forgot the world existed back in the States. I went over there, and in my mind, he was still here. Even though we'd been to the funeral and all that, in my mind, he was still here in the States. Because everybody was still here. And then I came back and I was like, oh, reality, he's not. And so I feel like the process didn't start until I came home the second time. He was a good dude too. That's okay. He still sees what I'm doing.
Oh, absolutely. So, when you went to that initial therapy in between deployment and your dad died, did you feel like going back to war was an escape from reality? even though it was the most reality that you could be in?
Was an escape? No. Maybe I would have looked, now looking back, was an escape? No, but I knew that's what brought me joy. Like those people. I don't even know if it was actually the war aspect or if it was the group, the bond that you have with those people is so. Yes, I had my kids and my family here, but that bond was so different. And that's all I wanted to do was be with them.
You just felt safe and comfortable and supported.
Yeah.
And
So I think it was
understood.
more that than actually having an escape. I just wanted to be with that group,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be away from civilian world. So I think that's because when it was time to go, my mom was a mess, and I was able to say, "Bye, I gotta go," and then I shut it off. And I don't think I don't remember a day that I was really sad about it over there. It wasn't until I came back. It's too, man, that war over there, the second deployment was pretty brutal. Like Fallujah was a pretty nasty war.
What were some mental or emotional challenges that you felt that second time that you went back?
Some mental challenges.
Like, did you feel like you had a battle inside of your head?
I don't think I thought about it.
Or you just numbed it
Numbed
completely
it,
out?
it blocked it. Like I wasn't, like I tried to extend my stay in war, and they said you can't. You only have so many months that you can be in a war zone, and they wouldn't let me extend. So I led. So this is one thing I did is I led the first all-female platoon that's ever been formed in the Marine Corps, and also the first female platoon that's females that have ever been attached to the infantry
Wow.
in the invasion of Fallujah. So that was a huge thing, and so this was like my baby. It was like my project, and I was really happy and proud of how the women had taken to the, because men don't like women in the Marine Corps. It's changed now. Back then they hated us. They called us W-Homes, which kind of stood for walking mattress. They say it stood for women Marines, but
No.
come on. I know what it stood for. Because we didn't call them M&Ms for male Marines. But, so, what was I saying? Oh, so yeah. So I liked the chance to prove that women are, we can work hard and we can prove ourselves. And so I loved this adventure, that new job that I had. And when it was time to come back, none of the women wanted to take over this platoon. Like, this was a huge deal. Like, I got a bunch of coins, which most people don't like coins. But, like, the really high-level people would come in and meet with me because it was a huge test thing for the Marine Corps. Like, how do we integrate women into infantry? And so I'd go to these debriefing every night. And I was a sergeant, which is, compared to colonels and full birds out there, I was like the little kid coming in. This is how it went today.
Yeah.
Nobody died on our. Then they'd be like, on your checkpoint, we're expecting this many. We're looking for this many, like, suicide bombers or whatever. And I was like, we didn't find any. We're all still here.
Yeah.
But you don't want to find suicide. If you find a suicide bomber, you've had better days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to find them. So, but when it was time to leave, I had to turn that platoon over. Well, the females nobody wanted it. And I was very strict, like I'd say, because we'd leave from this base and we'd go out to the city, and convoy security was my job at that point. Prior to this, I was a field MP. So I would say, we can't take the same path every time. You're just looking to get hit, blah, 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 blah. And so I was in charge. I was kind of a jerk, but I did my job.
That's badass.
But when I turned over the platoon, the girl didn't want it. I'd have to check for ammo. I'd have to make sure they had their plates and their flak jackets because, people just don't always do the right thing. And so when I turned it over, they got complacent. And they went on the same route every day in. Well, they got hit. 7 of them died.
Oh my goodness.
It was about 2 or 3 weeks after I got back. It's right after I got back.
Oh my goodness. That's
And
heavy.
so they did get hit. And I was like, this is what I preach day in, day out. And so that's why I tried to stay longer. They wouldn't let me stay longer, but I wanted to be able to work on that project more. I wanted to change things for women. I wanted to, and it's changed so much. Like G.I. Jane, she's my idol in life. Like,
Yeah.
But Demi Moore is probably awesome, but I'm not talking about Demi Moore as a person. I'm talking about the actual character. Obsessed with that.
Yep.
mean, that was my driving force in the military. I was like, I want to shave my head, but you can't. You probably can now. They call it eccentric. You couldn't shave your head back then. Not as a woman.
Huh.
But I bet you can now.
Interesting.
They even changed like nail polish colors you can wear now. I think you can wear like tans. You used to not be able to wear stuff like the very anal, like what color lipstick you can wear, like in certain uniforms, and but a lot of stuff has changed. Someone just sent me an article, Smart Her News. She's amazing. If you've never talked to her, she's a great person. She just sent me a bunch of articles about that kind of
Like
stuff
all the
changing
changes?
for women. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Because I was like, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL one day. and that was never going to happen as a woman back then. But I mean, I actually was left on my second deployment. I was left because they said, "Oh, women can't go here," and I was like, They have this thing called request mass, where they can, when you don't get what you want, you can go to the next level, the next level, chain of command.
Yeah.
And I had to request mass to try to get to be with the guys I had trained with because they're like, "You're a woman, you can't go." I was like, done the same training as all the guys. Why can't I've been like, what do you mean I can't go? And then they flew me over and let me. They had to put us in a helicopter and fly us to meet everybody because. Yeah, so I mean, women aren't always treated equal, but if you fight for what you want and you prove that you're able to do it, I feel like that's the answer. Just keep proving yourself. So actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely. Amen to that. So, you know, you said you wish you would have stayed, but you obviously had to come home. And so when you got back home for good at that point, how do you feel your mental health was? Were you still numb here when you got back? Did it take a minute for things to start bubbling up?
I think, no, I didn't go through counseling a second time when I came home. I didn't, well, that's when my husband cheated on me the whole second deployment. So when I came home, he had spent every bit of money I made. I came home to nothing and on his girlfriend. And I was like, ooh, you talk about some anger. So I filed for divorce.
Right when you got back?
I was probably less than a month. Pretty quick.
How'd you feel about that? Were you sad, mad,
I was
exhausted, ready?
I was angry. I was angry, but also wanted divorce. Like I felt like we were together only for the kids. Actually, I know we were together only for the kids on my side. And it was the best thing that ever happened, but I was angry at the same time. And I got shingles from that.
Oh, goodness. You're probably so stressed out.
So stressed. Because now I'm a single mom. I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps. I got out of the Marine Corps too because I was getting ready to deploy again. And my attorney said that if you deploy again, you're going to lose full custody. And so I had to leave the job that I thought I was going to retire in. But I feel like I've had two great jobs. So I ended up going right back into training. And so I'm a single mom with zero. When I say zero money, no money. And training, I'm making $17 an hour. And it's, it's wishy-washy. Like you get an hour here. It's not like you work 8 hours a day. And so I was like, gosh, I'm never going to be able to support my kids on this. And I was like, one day I will support my kids' training. That was my whole goal. All I want to do is be able to support them. And so then I started cleaning houses. So I cleaned houses. As my training career grew, I would start clean less houses, and then eventually I was able to. So it was a slow process, but yeah, it was it was not easy. Everyone looks at it and say, "Your life's so easy." I've been through some not so easy stuff.
Yeah, because when you look on Instagram at people's lives or even your life,
so perfect.
Yeah, everything.
I got all the plants and I got
your house and your perfect body and your perfect yeah. I mean, people don't know the journey within.
There has been a journey, but I'm so thankful for the journey because every step of that journey has gotten me to the next thing. And without one piece of that puzzle, without my ex-husband, without because I wouldn't have my kids without him. Everything has led me to the next thing, and there's nothing I would take back.
What would you say to somebody that is in the position that just got divorced and is a single mother and feels like, maybe they don't have any money, they have this dream that seems so far out of reach? Where did you get that inside of you, that motivation to just make it happen? Like, I mean, you said you cleaned houses, like you really had to humble yourself to get to your goal.
Oh, so fun. Cleaning houses was fun. It was like instant. It's a job that you go in and you're like, wow, look at that. That looks really good. It's instant gratification for me. But you know what? You look at it and you think, how am I ever going to do this? but my mind is so driven. Like once I say this is what I'm going to do, and people are like, "What's your real job going to be?" I'm going to be a trainer. Training's a cool job now,
Right.
but my training career started way before social media.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a cool job. People are like, "What are you really going to do?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm going to train." You going to start a gym? No, I want to train. I want to train. I love when people put on that most beautiful outfit of all, and that is their confidence. And that's why I do what I do every day. And so I want people, if they're going through a divorce and they're going through a hard time and they think, how am I going to do it? Stay focused. Keep your eye on the prize.
Are there any just like morning routines or any little habits that, you know, you do that motivate you or that help you, you know, keep that drive?
Habits. I'm a very structured. I think structure and discipline. You have to find a routine. In my routine, your routine, everyone's routine is different. You have to find a routine that works for your life. But set a routine, set boundaries, set guidelines, set things that keep you moving forward. And on days that you're unmotivated, stick with it. Tell yourself it's worth it. You're worth it. You're worth feeling amazing. You're worth whatever it is that you're trying to do. And giving up is not an option. It's just, that wasn't an option for me. This is what's going to happen. X, Y, Z is going to happen. Now, there's going to be one heck of a journey to get there, but I'm going to do it. And people are like, how'd you train celebrities? I was like, celebrity? I had never even once in my life thought, I was a Marine. I had never read Us Weekly. I had never even read a celebrity magazine. I know nothing about celebrities. I didn't watch TV. I didn't watch G.I. Jane was like there's probably 5 movies I've seen in my life. G.I. Jane on repeat. But, people are like, oh my gosh, how'd you train celebrities? I was like, I didn't go looking for celebrities. And they're like, oh, it's so easy for you. No, I worked really hard to get where I am. I worked really hard. And yes, celebrity did happen, and then it grew slow. People think it looks like it happened overnight. It was a slow journey.
I mean, I truly believe that, you know, your energy and what you're putting out into the world attracts that same energy
Brings
back.
your tribe in. That's where the tribe comes from.
And I really do feel like you can attract your tribe and attract, you know, your circle.
I agree.
And you talked about boundaries just now. You know, I'm really big on boundaries. You know, within my routine, within my friend circle, with my morals, different things like that. You know, what are some boundaries that you feel have really gotten you, you know, in this world of celebrity training and, you know, how you met your goals? Like, do you think the boundaries around your, you know, scheduling and your, you know, drive and, you know, what are some of those?
So discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah, discipline is a lot. I mean, I get up at, I'm structured. I get up at, now I get to sleep till like 4:15, but I used to get up at 3:30 every morning. 3:30, you get up, you do this, and then, you know, like, this is this time, train from this time to this time is media time, and then this starts the other businesses, and people are like, oh, you still train? Every day,
Like,
all the time. I do. I still train all the time. Yes, I have my Pretty Muscles app, and yes, I have lots of different projects, but my home base is still my training, and that's been all, I feel like, structure and discipline.
Yeah.
And the boundaries I would say I set for myself are working with negative thoughts in the head. Like, how do I, like, one, I'm really strict on friend groups. I have lots of acquaintances, lots of people I love that are great to be around and hang out, but I have a very small group of really close people around me.
You feel like you put boundaries up for like peer pressure? Like if someone's like, oh, Erin, it's okay, you know, we drank last night, let's go drink again, or...
Oh my gosh, I'm like
know?
the most jerko one on that one. I feel like...
Do you think that putting those boundaries up within your friend circles really helped you get to where you are today?
For sure. Well, it helped me reach my goals, one, for body, my body goals. It helps me reach my goals to get up in the morning. Do you think... I go to events all the time. If I drank at every one of them, and people are like, oh, here's a drink, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And people will try to say, it's okay, you can drink. And they think, oh, it's just because you want to have a perfect body.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's because I want to feel good. And I have to get up early and I have to work out.
Me too. That's why I don't drink anymore.
I do drink, but I do have a limit to myself. It's 2 drinks a week, and it's usually on Saturdays. And sometimes if I skip a Saturday, then it averages out to be like 4 a month. Because usually I skip like every other week. Yeah. And I feel good when I do it that way. And some people get uncomfortable when the other person's not drinking.
I've experienced that for
a
sure.
lot, and I just laugh. I'm very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong in my head, and I don't let other people's opinions or thoughts or what they want affect me.
I love that. I really feel like that's helped me, with my business and get to where I am today. I mean, being on the road with, my husband as a country musician, we were drinking the first 2 or 3 years. I'd have a whiskey drink every night. It's not that I was getting drunk, but you can notice that in your body and in your mental and just everything, my mood.
Your mood and just your wanting to get in the morning, getting up early. Because I feel like my day thrives by getting up early. I get by the time 10 o'clock hits, I mean, I've done so much work by that point. And then it's like, okay, next day.
Yep.
I feel like I live 2 separate days in one day.
Yep. But that's I know for me, and I feel like that's what I'm hearing from you, is putting up that boundary of not succumbing to any sort of peer pressure, whether that be going out at night or whether that be drinking. For me, like when people try to make me feel uncomfortable for not drinking, I say something like, look, I can be just as silly, dance just as hard, have just as much fun
as
funny. You.
So people think that I'm drunk all the time. I get people tell me I'm an alcoholic. I was like, alcoholic?
Because you like to dance?
Yes, because I'm really comfortable making a fool of myself completely sober. 9 times out of 10, when people are like, oh my gosh, you're so drunk, I've had 0. I was like, I don't know if that's a bad sign or not, but 9 times out of 10, I'm usually not drinking, and I love to dance. I love to have fun. I love to enjoy life.
I love that. So I got a couple more questions.
Do you want to know why I'm so cool?
I want to know why you're so cool. Yeah, tell me. Tell me why you're so cool.
I don't know. I ask my kids, I'll tell you.
No, I want to talk about, and I hate even saying it, but during quarantine, what were some things that you learned over that period? And also, actually, let's back up a little bit. I want to talk about this first. So when you came and visited me at the beach, and we did our workout together, can you tell everybody what happened?
It was a really glamorous day. This photo shoot was so awesome. So awesome, it caused all these beautiful scars. So we were on the beach doing a fun photo shoot actually we were doing a challenge together on my app and wearing, of course, some cool Tribe Kelly stuff. We were jumping and my knee decided to hyperextend and pop, there goes my ACL. That was my 3rd time, so it wasn't a huge shocker, but still an annoyance. But it's been quite a journey for me. I honestly think, and I was really pissed, and then I wasn't pissed, and then I was like...
Well, let's just let everybody know that you literally crashed your knee and then did 4 intense workouts with me over the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much dying as an able-bodied human, and you were up there with your knee hanging to the left.
It was good. I came home, and then I had surgery.
That war mentality.
It does. I can shut it off. Like, the doctor even said, your arthritis, when I went to him, he's like, your arthritis is so bad in that knee from all my other surgeries, because that was the 3rd time. He's like, you should be prior to hurting it this time, you should be in so much pain. It's like 0. I said I had no pain. He's like, you're 0.01% that can have arthritis like that and have no pain. And then, so we did the ACL surgery, of course, that was in the first week of July, I think. And then in September, when I was rehabbing it, actually had it on video because the reason I was videoing, people are like, why are you videoing yourself? Because anytime I was not in front of a mirror when I was doing rehab, I videoed to make sure everything stayed perfectly even. I could sit and I could really pick apart my form. So I'd watch it back and make sure my gait, everything was even. So I was doing lunges, holding on, and I was clear to do them. So people are like, that's what you get for working out. Come on. I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. My kneecap decided to break.
Yeah, I heard that video and almost
that was a pretty loud one. And I was like, And so I showed it to my doctor, and he's like, yeah, your kneecap broke, but that's not when you because I also retore my ACL that I just had surgery in July. And he said that the surgery, when I tore that, when I broke my kneecap, that is not when I tore my ACL. He said you had already torn it in the last 2 months prior to that. I had no idea I tore it again. And so we did put pins in the knee, that, and well, it could be tore again. So it's been quite a journey with the knee, and people are like, are you so mad? And I was like, I'm not, actually. It's been one of the best experiences of my life. It has been a big turning point for me. It's made me rethink what's truly important in life, and it can't be just fitness. It can't just be work. And my plants came into life. I got to be more time with my dogs, and everything that I just opened my eyes to so many more things. I get to paint shoes, hang out in my greenhouse. I just have more things that I really truly enjoy instead of the main thing, which to me was my life was fitness. And so I have no regret. My doctor's like, are you mad? I'm not mad. I don't play the blame game. There's no blame. It is an incident that happened. It was an accident. Both are accidents. But actually, I'm forever grateful for it. It was an accident that changed my life for the best.
I love that. Just reframe your mindset.
I'm ready for it to move on, though.
Yeah. So, what is some advice that you would give to someone that may be injured right now and that just feels really down on themselves?
So that's a great question, because for me, fitness was always my outlet. Stressed, mad, happy, like that was always what I went to. Jump rope, hands down, favorite thing in the world. I love weight training. And a lot of my things I loved were taken, you can say taken away, but not taken away, just put on the back burner. And I think that your mind is the strongest thing you've got. You have to change. You got to look at it and say, look, my knee's injured. I still have 3/4 of my body that's good. I got to count my blessings. I have to count my blessings, and you just have to find things that bring you joy. And it's going to be something different. But there's so many amazing things out in this world that are happy. And it doesn't mean that you have to go to Disneyland. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, find the simple things. Like, I learned to sit in my swing, which I would never do, because if I had free time, I would jump. I would lay in the swing. I'd be like, I love it here. Like, I am lucky. I have 2 amazing kids. I have a great husband. I have all the dogs I can want. Oh, my God, dogs. I mean, dogs are the best therapy you can ever have, honestly. I mean, you just hug your dog, and you're like, I don't need anything else. And just find other things that make you smile. And yes, it's going to be something different, but the world didn't end. This is just a little bump in the road. You're going to be right back at it.
Yeah.
But if you stress over, you're going to make it that whole journey miserable. You cannot change it. So now you got to figure out ways to roll with it.
I love that. Just reframing your mindset.
The mind's powerful. Your body achieves what your mind believes too. You got to talk to it nice.
I love that.
I'm actually writing that on one of my fitness equipment. I have a big ball coming out.
Oh,
You know, because I have the bands and all that, but I have a ball that says on the big ones that you sit on.
Yeah.
And it says your body achieves what your mind believes, because I 100% believe our mind is the most powerful thing we have. Your body will do what it tells you. Because our minds say, oh, stop, it burns. Whatever, that body keep going. Tell it stop. Why are you stopping?
I love that. I absolutely love that. So I know, because I know you and love you, that you do a lot in the community. You do a lot to give back, especially during the hurricane. Or sorry, I'm from Florida. I'm talking about hurricanes, but tornadoes. So you've done a lot, during the tornadoes here in Nashville. And one of our quotes on the back of our jackets talks about love and compassion. And how do you feel that you've spread love and compassion throughout your community?
So I feel like love and compassion is shown through actions and not words. I feel like it's show people that you care. Help, hands-on, lead by example. Just be a good human. I'm not saying you have to go give your shirt off your back every time. Just be a good person. Care about other people. There's more to life than yourself.
I love that.
Think outside the box.
And another one of the quotes that we're using in this collection is, it says, everything is the teacher. What does that mean to you? Do you really feel like everything you've gone
Everything I have been through in life has taught me something. My goodness. My knee, for example, has taught me so much. So it's probably taught me the most. Actually, my military experience taught me a lot. Everything in my military has led me to where I am today. But my knee has led me, the last year has led me to where I am now. Like everything has, your experiences are going to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not all going to be great experiences. Life isn't all roses.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be hard times, there's going to be good times. You guys stay focused, keep moving forward, and it will all play itself out. It's not going to all be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy's boring, though.
It
Can
is.
you imagine if everything was perfect? What is perfect? Who defines perfect?
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing. If someone says, oh, I want a perfect body, what's perfect?
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing.
Yep.
It's perfect what's in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, love yourself by working on your best self.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Erin.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And how about these cute clothes?
I know, we're sitting around in
These
our comfy
sweats
butters.
are the softest things ever. I have the
Ugh.
sweatpants too that I'm obsessed with, so I'm loving it. This is a cute color.
Well, thank you so much, and you're just the
You're
best.
awesome. We did it.